All right, hey guys, this will be our first multimedia lesson, and so we are actually going to start multimedia with just what is graphic design, okay? And so the first thing that you're actually going to want to have is in Google Classroom, you're going to see this assignment called Intro to Graphic Design Notes. You're going to be able to pull this up, Intro to Design Note Guide. You'll open it up, it'll be a Google Doc, and you can type right alongside of me as I go through the PowerPoint, okay? Okay, so we are just going to start with the basics of graphic design. Make sure you have that note guide pulled up and you are going alongside with me. All right, so the first thing that we're going to talk about just is what is graphic design. And so the reality is that graphic design is going to be everything from using text and pictures and colors and everything mixed together to visually communicate specific messages to a specific target audience. So when we say target audience, we could mean that we're specifically targeting teenagers and we're going to fit our graphic design for this game around the teenagers that we're trying to talk to. So that's kind of what graphic design is. It's combining a bunch of elements to be visually stimulative to make you want to understand what's going on and to hear the message about a certain product or a service or whatever it is. And so there are actually going to be several types of graphic design that we look at. They can range from art to photography to print layout, which just means like brochures or even something as simple as a business card as a print layout, web design, what do internets look like, and then game design. So how did we build Fortnite, that kind of thing, okay? And so the reality is that graphic design is everywhere, okay? So the way that a font is written on a pizza box, or the way that North Face writes their logo, or the way that people edit pictures, all of that can be graphic design, okay? And so we are surrounded by it. Okay, and so the next section is the types of graphic design. And so there are lots of different types that we're going to walk through. This first one being, the first is advertising and marketing. And this is going to include anything like flyers, posters, banners. You can read there, billboards, social media ads. This type of graphic design is built so to make you want to know more about a product, right? So if you look here on the screen, you'll see at the bottom that these are very clever billboards for like Tylenol. Look, you'll see that it has a big wrecking ball through the guy's head, right? You want Tylenol for a headache. It's just clever things to get people to want to know more about what you're trying to sell or what your product is or what your service is. And so you can see advertising and marketing on all types of different things. You'll even see it here on the bus on the bottom right. That is another form of advertising marketing. I'm telling you what my business does with this truck. Another kind being clothing and textile. So we see graphic design on our clothes. I've included a couple of examples here of how the shirt has cactuses on it. Well, that's a form of graphic design on that t-shirt. These geometric shapes on the wallpapers, that is graphic design, okay? And so you can have it on your clothes, on your walls, on furniture, carpet. That's what this type of graphic design is talking about. You also have brand or company identity. And so what that means is, what do you think of when you see McDonald's, right? So the golden arches, that is a type of branding for a company using graphic design. And so you'll see here how this Jeffrey's Cafe company has it on their menu and on bags of coffee that you can buy and on their cup. Everywhere you see is that day or the Jeffrey's. And over on the right, you'll see that they've kept their logo throughout pens and cups and paper bags and an iPad. It's keeping something similar across the board, across all of your products. And you'll see that in the definition that they use it across their platform. And then you have a type of graphic design called 3D. I'm not going to explain this one too much because you know that 3D is just anything that looks three-dimensional. And so you'll typically see this one more in gaming or clearly with movies or animation or whatever. That is its own form of graphic design. Another type is device interface. And so what that means is it's a fancy word of saying that we're going to put our graphic design into an app. I want you to be able to see it on computers and phones and iPads. I want it to look uniform across the board or whatever it is. Device interface just means I made decisions about how I want this to look online. And then you have digital design, which is again another way to lay out websites, and you want things to be cohesive and you want to be able for people to find things easily on your website. These are all thoughts that graphic designers on a website have to think about. Did I use the right colors? Did I send the right message using this graphic? So web design is its own form of graphic design. And then you have motion graphics that'll be like GIFs or banners that move, and you'll see examples on the screen here of the two pictures that are continually rotating, and then the birthday celebration popped up. Motion graphics are its own type of graphic design. There's a whole different set of tools that you have to use to create something like that. And another type of graphic design is environmental. So you'll see here that this can range from you helped lay out what this hospital will look like inside. We want this one to be the sunshine room. So everything will be yellow and everything will be bright and happy. We're going to use round things to indicate that it's a sun or whatever it is. That's graphic design. You see the Wrigley Field, that going around the stadium indicates graphic design. Someone had to create that. And then, you know, Nashville is just a good representation of something that you could do on the side of a building to send a message. And so you will see graphic designs everywhere. It'll tell you transportation, public areas, museums, murals, signage. This is all a type of environmental graphic design. And packaging is its own form of graphic design. Think back to when Coke did this Share a Coke with James, Share a Coke with Laura. That was the graphic design department that came up with that. The labels on the bottle. You see Louisiana down here in the left-hand corner. Packaging is also a way to do graphic design because you want it to be something that people look at. It catches their eye. It gives a product a unique look. And so again, packaging could be anything from bottles to boxes to containers. Anything that you pack something in. And then the last type of graphic design is publishing. And so we're talking anything that's hard copy. So newspaper, books, magazines. And graphic design artists have to think about, how do I want the cover of the beauty magazine to look? I'll pick out a few things to highlight on the cover of the magazine. J.K. Rowling had to think about what she wanted on the cover of Harry Potter. New York Times has to think about how they lay things out on the newspaper. Publishing is another type of graphic design. And so now what you're going to do is you will see two questions here that you will answer on your note guide. Go back through the slides if you need to, hear about things that I've said to help you answer the second question. And pay attention to the fact that it says, which 5 out of the 10 does this picture use? And it can use more than one type of graphic design in one setting, okay? So just think about some of the things that I've said, fill out your note guide, and when you are done with it, you are going to upload it back to Google Classroom.